Okay, now that we've assembled our cube, we're going to figure out how to blow it up and show it in an exploded view, and then have it assemble together. Okay, so as usual, we're going to double check that we're in the right project, hit done. This time we're going to go to new, and we're going to go to standard.ipn, presentation. Okay, then up here at the top left, I'm going to do create view, and it's going to ask me what file I want to use. So I'm going to hit my drop down. I'm going to use my Avengers assembly that I just created, and I'm going to click open. For my explosion method, I'm going to do manual. Okay, set it down in there. I'm going to rotate it so I get the right home view. Right click there, set current view as home, fit to view. There's my home view. Okay, so now the next step is we're going to start moving these parts around. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see where we're moving them. Okay, and I'm going to go to tweak components. All right, now from here, you can see the first thing it's asking us to pick is the direction. Okay, we see that we can move it either in a straight line, up and down, left and right, in any of our X, Y, or Z directions, or we can rotate it about any of the 3 axes. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to move Hulk first. I'm going to pick a direction. So I'm going to go to the face of Hulk right here, and then I can see that the blue direction is the Z. I could change it to X or Y or Z. I want to move it up though, so I'm going to select the Z one. Okay, now I could either enter a distance in here and click the check mark and it'll move it automatically, or right here when it's telling me components, I can grab Hulk and I can just move him up here. All right, so I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to hit my check mark and I'm going to hit close. So Hulk is moved right there. All right, and then maybe I want to spin him around because when you find it, it's not going to be in the exact position that you want. So I'm going to go to tweak components again. I'm going to select the rotation, and I'm going to pick the direction that I want it to rotate. I want it to rotate about the Z axis. Okay, so I can grab it and I can spin it this way, or I can enter the number of degrees to rotate right there. Okay, so I'm going to just leave it like that. That's a good one. Okay, now for Thor's hammer, I'm going to rotate that one next, or I'm going to move that one next. So I'm going to go to tweak component. We're just going to select this face, and I want to move him in the Y direction. So I'm going to click up here on Y. Now I see that the blue part is highlighted, and this time I'm going to move him 5 inches. So I'm going to hit the check mark. That moves him away over there. Okay? And now additionally, I'm going to hit the apply, and I'm going to rotate him next. So I'm going to click this one. It's going to rotate in the Y direction. Oops, about that axis. So there we go. So now it's up like so. Okay, I'm going to hit the check mark and I'm going to close. All right, now at any point on here, I can go to the animate and I can play it so I can see how this is going to animate. Okay, so far it's looking good. The key thing is here that I'm doing the different animation is because I want to make sure that these things go together nicely and the parts aren't going through each other. Okay, so now I'm back to here. Additionally, you might find it useful that you can actually change the order in which things go by going to the filter. By going to the filter, clicking sequence view, and then right here under there you're going to drop down task. So here you're going to see the 4 sequences. All right, you can see the red highlight of what order it goes in. So say I wanted to have Hulk be instead of having Hulk be the last thing that goes in, I want Thor to. Okay, so in that case I could drag down my sequence 1 below sequence 4, and then my sequence 1 again down below there. So now it's going to go Hulk rotating, then Hulk snapping into place, then Thor rotating, and Thor snapping into place. Okay? Now I don't want to do that, so I'm going to move those back to how they were. Okay? So that's one way where you can change the direction, or change the order in which things go. All right? So let's do one with Iron Man, okay? Now, I'm going to move him. I'll move him in the Y direction first. So I'm going to move him out here. All right, and then I also want him to fly upwards. So I'm going to do now the X direction. I'm going to grab him, and he's going to go up as well. All right, and he's Iron Man, so he shows off, and he's going to spin around also. So I'm going to rotate him about the X. We're going to have him rotate 360 degrees because he's Iron Man. Okay? So it's not going to appear any different here, but if I go in and check my animation, he's going to spin all the way around once and then go in there. Okay? I'm going to reset because I want to show you something else you can do. If you change the interval down to something like 10, it's a lot more reasonable. So it'll spin around like that, and you won't have to wait 17 years for your cube to go together. Okay? All right, so now I've only got 2 left, all right? So I'm going to do Hawkeye's bow first, all right? So I want Hawkeye's bow. I'm going to move it in the Z direction this way. And then I'm going to rotate it also about the Z-axis. But I just wanted to go, let's say, how about just 90 degrees? So that it's sitting straight up like a bow and arrow. Okay? Alright, and then finally, Captain America. I'm going to move him in this direction. And then we're going to move him down as well. So I'm going to switch it to the Y and move it down some. So they're all apart, and then they'll assemble together. Okay? And perhaps we will also do, we'll bring him back up here for a second. So we're going to have him spin. And we're going to have it spin about, I want the whole thing to spin, so I'm going to click the bottom. Now I'm going to have it spin, we'll have it do 360 degrees. Okay? Alright, so we're going to put this, and we're going to play, and we're going to see how it goes. Oh, I forgot to apply that save. Okay, see how right there, if I go back in the other direction, how Hawkeye's bow went through Captain America's shield? Alright, we don't want that to happen. So, again, I'm going to go to, going back from where we started, okay, I'm going to go to my filter thing right here, the sequence view. I'm going to drop that down, and I need for Captain America's piece to move, I need for his to go, instead of being first here, I want Hawkeye's to go first. So I'm going to move Captain America's down here. Okay? Now, if I animate it, I'll go in reverse. Oh. Now Captain America's moves out of the way so that Hawkeye's isn't going through it. Okay? Now, additionally, what I was saying, or what I didn't say before, is I want to tweak Captain America. I'm going to make it rotate. I'm going to have it rotate 360 degrees. And check. Okay? Now, again, because I did this sequence last, that was the last tweak I did, it actually puts it out of order. So I want all of Captain America to go at the same time. So I'm going to move his spin down here in front of this one. So this is saying that it's going to move him first, and then it's going to spin him. All right, it's going to spin it and then move it, because this is in reverse order as to how it goes. So anytime we're not sure, we can check. So there goes Hawkeye's bow. Ah, okay, so see, I actually did that backwards, and I need to switch the order. Okay, so I'm going to go here and move this one up above it. Now if I go to animate, now we should see it do it correctly. Okay. Okay, now, I like how Captain America spins like the shield and then goes into place, but I want it to do something even cooler. So if I go and I expand this menu even further, I can see here where Captain America spins, and then in the next sequence he goes into place. Now, if I drag his spin and I move it up into this one, well, I was doing it a second ago. All right, let's try this again. If I take his spin and I move it up here, there we go. All right. Now watch this. When I animate it, Hawkeye's gonna go in place. Captain America's gonna spin, and he goes in place. Then all my Avengers assemble. Okay. Now in the next one, I'm gonna show you guys, and when I get back, I'm gonna show you guys how to change the camera angle for all of the parts. And so that's going to make it even more interesting as you put it together. Okay, so I lied. I'm going to show you in this video. All right, so for those of you that get ahead and get your assembly all kind of done, this is how you can change the camera angles to make it look really cool. Okay? So, what I can do is for each sequence that I have, I can change where the camera angle is. All right, so I'm going to start all the way down here at the bottom with my first one. Okay? So, I see that this is Hulk. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get zoomed in on Hulk as he's spinning around and going in. So I want to see both the path and where he spins as a nice spot in the camera. So what I can do now is I go to this sequence, and again, if you're in the regular assembly view, you click the filter and you go to sequence view. Then you expand the task. So I'm going to highlight the sequence that's got him. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to edit. All right. When I'm in edit, what I can do is I can click set camera, then apply. Okay? Then I close it. All right, so now wherever I start this, if I go to animate and I click this, when it gets to Hulk, it's going to zoom in on his part to watch it fit together. Okay. So that was just an example, not the best one. But what you can do is you can do that for each part. So I'm going to show another example of that and how we might make this one a little bit better. So as we can see here, Hulk's the last piece that goes in. So what I can do is I can actually switch to my home view, and that might be a good place to end as it's going in. Now, I can't zoom in quite this much because I want to see the piece actually go into place. But if I select it right here, and I go to sequence 9 where he starts spinning, this might be a good, oh, I might need to zoom out just a tad more. Okay, so maybe for the spinning part, I set the camera here. So I go to edit, set camera, apply. Okay, and then for the last part, I need to set the camera down to right here. Okay, so for the last part, I'm going to have it set, oh, and it goes back to the one that it was at previously. So I'm going to set it to my home view. I'm going to zoom in some more. I'm going to set the camera to here. Hit apply. Okay. Now, hopefully with all of that done correctly, it will set it to a nice camera as the last piece is going in. Okay? So maybe for the part where he spins around, I could do it a little bit closer. But that gets a decent idea of how to do it. Okay? Now, if we want to see a more extreme one, what we could do is we could rotate the camera all the way around. Maybe get a nice rotation view. Okay? Maybe I want to see Captain America's part spin into place like it's right side up. Okay, so I'm going to find his part. Okay, so we're going to go here to sequence 3 because we combined them both. I'm going to go to edit, set camera, apply. Okay? Now, what it's going to do is basically from there, it's going to keep it at that camera until I change it on the next one. So we've got to make sure that we change all the camera views, or else it'll just stay in a poor camera view. So we see his shield going into place there, but then Iron Man is all out of whack, and so are all the other ones, until we get to Hulk, where I change the camera again. So it's important that you do a good camera angle that shows each part moving for all of them. All right, so for example, after Captain America, we can go through for each one, okay? So for Hawkeye, he's right here. He doesn't do too much fancy. So we can just maybe zoom in a bit right here on his part. Maybe for the spin, we have it right here. Okay, and for the other part, we move it up a little bit so that we can see it go into place. Okay, then after Captain America, we want to go to Iron Man. Iron Man does a complete spin. So we're going to set the camera. We'll even zoom in. Iron Man, you know how he likes to be the center of attention. So we'll zoom in, we'll edit, we'll set the camera there for that one. Then we want to watch his flight. So we'll zoom out right here. Maybe zoom in just a tad more for this section. Right here, and set the camera. Then for his final connection part to the cube, we'll zoom to right here and set that camera. Okay, so that really just leaves me with Thor's hammer. Alright, so for Thor's hammer, I want to look at that one from over here. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in right here, watch it spin around. Okay, so we're going to see this whole part. We'll zoom out just a tad more. Edit, set camera, apply. Okay, now when he actually goes into the cube, I want it to be from the home view. So that might be a good way to do all the final steps. Set camera, apply. Okay. So now when I do it, it should give me a cool camera view for each piece. There's Captain America's shield, Iron Man spinning around, flying down, and then flying into place. Then we get Thor from the other side, swings his hammer and puts it into place, and then the Hulk spins around and goes into the cube finally. Okay? So you guys will be able to do that for all of yours. This should give you plenty of stuff to work on for the next couple of days.